Hey Ryder, on today's show, we remember a beloved faculty member. Take a look at the upcoming elections and sit down with a Hollywood star. This is Ryder right now. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Kelly Dixon. I'm sure you're all aware that this week, Rider University experienced a blackout. Let's take a look and see what happened.
This is Gina Grasser reporting right now. Rider University's campus has been shut down due to a blackout. Let's see if we can find out more information. As students waited in traffic and walked around campus, we were able to stop them and ask a few questions.
I had a 3:30 class and it got canceled, and now I've been waiting in here for like 20 minutes online trying to get out of here. So I'm not moving anywhere pretty much.
Apparently a power outage happened. I'm not sure why or when the power's going to be back, but hopefully soon.
I'm walking around because there's nothing to do, and the power's out till 8 o'clock tonight.
While some students scurried around, others decided to take advantage of their day off.
It's a nice day out. Classes were canceled because of the blackout, and we're just throwing the ball around.
No matter what the students were doing with their free time, they all found out that there were no classes the same way.
Well, I got a text message in class saying that all classes were canceled.
I put my phone number in to Ryder and they sent me a text message.
One of my friends actually texted me first, and then I got the Rider alert text and the phone calls.
Even though Rider's campus seemed to be handling the blackout well, Route 206 was a different story. Unable to get an interview, a PSE&G representative told us that a car was traveling northbound and struck a telephone pole that resulted in the campus's blackout. The pole that the driver stuck only affected power on Rider's campus, leaving the rest of the Lawrenceville area unharmed despite the amount of traffic that it caused. As the workers exerted themselves to get the power up and running again, the senior class was still able to enjoy a dinner at President Rosansky's house celebrating the senior year experience kickoff event. The senior class president, Matt Semmel, was able to get the word out on time so that students would know the event was not canceled.
There was a sign on our door in our building, and I actually know Matt Semmel, who's putting it on, so he sent a big text message around, so we all kind of found out.
We basically, the Office of Annual Giving, who has telethon workers, helped us get the message out. They had their workers tell everybody that they knew, and they also had them hang up signs all around campus. So hopefully the word got out. I was doing a bunch of texting to all my friends and people about what was going on and that the event is still happening, because luckily across the street still have power at President Rosansky's house.
In the midst of a blackout, Rider students do not stop. The Rider alert system seems to have fulfilled its purpose, giving students enough time to react accordingly to the situation at hand. This has been Gina Grasser reporting for Rider right now.
I hope you all enjoyed the added rest and relaxation caused by the blackout. This past Monday, the Institute of New Jersey Politics had a dedication ceremony for the late Dr. David Rebovich. Gina Grasso has more.
The legacy of Dr. David Rebovich still lives on.
By renaming the Institute for New Jersey Politics in his honor, we will continue to be reminded of what the great educator John Dewey noted nearly a century ago, that there is a critical role for the teacher, for education to play in a democracy.
Not only did Dr. Rebovich leave an impact on his students, but also with his colleagues.
New Jersey lost one of its brightest lights in Dr. David Rebovich.
Less than a year ago, we all lost a great treasure by the name of David Rebovich.
He was a consummate gentleman, one of the greatest, I think, masters of the New Jersey political landscape that any one of us have seen in quite some time.
After honoring the professor, the Institute's new director, Ben Dworkin, took a stand and was able to address the audience. Once the ceremony had come to a conclusion, we were able to speak with him as well as other of Dr. Rebovich's former colleagues and students.
Well, this is a tremendous honor. David Rebovich was the gold standard in political analysis in New Jersey, and I am less replacing him than succeeding him. And we're building on his legacy.
Dr. Rebovich's legacy lives on in his students, lives on in all of us who came into contact with him. You know, his love of politics for all the right reasons, for what it could do to change positively the life of people and the communities.
And when it came to the Institute, he was very dedicated to New Jersey politics, very dedicated to Rider. He was always Rider University Professor David Rebovich, not just David Rebovich.
And he was passionate about politics being a good thing for people to go into, and a passion for public service. And this institute will allow to continue that legacy.
Ben Dworkin is a great new director. He's going to carry on the passion and the tradition in a way that I think is going to be fantastic, and we'll look forward to coming back as we did when David was at the head of it.
Well, I certainly think Professor Dworkin is going to bring an amazing amount of energy and experience and talent to this position to continue to grow the Institute across New Jersey and across the country.
Not only did the senators have full confidence in Dworkin, but so did Rebovich's daughter, Melissa.
I love Ben, and we're really excited to work with him.
This has been Gina Grasser reporting for Rider Right Now.
Students and faculty will truly miss Dr. Rebovich. With fall elections slowly approaching, Rider students are still deciding who to vote for. Maybe this will help you to decide.
The 2008 presidential elections is not only a topic of conversation amongst towns and communities, but it is also a major issue at Rider University.
Well, first of all, it's just important for students to know what's going on in the presidential election. Too many people think that it has no relationship to them, and nothing could be farther from the truth.
For our generation, this election year, we really need to understand how important it is to get involved.
Dr. Myra Gutin teaches a class helping students understand what goes into making the president, helping them build and shape their opinions.
During a regular class, we start with something that I call Newswatch, so that two students share with us reports on international, national, and campaign news from two different newspapers. And then two students also do a news report, meaning that the previous Sunday they've watched a news program. I just think it's important to be well informed, especially with 42 days to go until Election Day.
Students also have the opportunity to partake in organizations where they are welcome to speak their minds and debate controversial issues regarding the election.
Well, the college Republicans here on campus are doing many things, like I said before, working on campaigns.
We encourage people who may not know anything about Barack Obama to just come to the meeting, and if you want to learn, we'll have informational brochures there to let people know how he stands on the issues.
The presidential elections is still underway with a little bit over a month left to go. Students can keep an eye out around campus to see what the university is doing to keep them involved and updated with the candidates. I'm Garrett Williams with Rider Right Now.
Make sure that you register to vote before Election Day. Political figures are always making appearances at Rider University. This week, Gina Grasso had a chance to speak with the former Tennessee Representative Harold Ford Jr. Here's a sneak peek of the interview.
Today we are joined by Harold Ford Jr., a former U.S. representative. According to Bill Clinton, he is the living embodiment of where America ought to go in the 21st century.
Thank you for having me. Delighted to be here.
During your 5 terms in Congress, your focus was on results. After serving on both the Financial Services and the Budget Committees, what results did you hope to achieve?
The Budget Committee, first of all, thanks for having me, and delighted to be here. Delighted to be at the university. The Budget Committee has responsibility for reviewing the President's submission to Congress for the funding of the various agencies within government. I always believe that that fiscal responsibility was a smart thing for a couple of reasons. When government manages its affairs right, it's sort of a trickle-down effect and forces business, and for that matter the private sector, to behave differently as well. The more fiscal responsibility you have, the stronger our currency is and the stronger our standing is around the globe, I think. Today, as you probably know, we have almost a $500 billion debt we're expected to accumulate this year, which is an enormous number. The next president's going to have not only war spending to deal with, new spending initiatives that we need at home on infrastructure and other things, including education and health care. So my focus all the time on the Budget Committee was to try to keep the Bush administration in check. And as you recall, the war had really just started. And each year, Congress or the president would ask for Congress to fund the war. In other words, pass the bills to pay for the war. But we never ever included the money that we spent on the war. We never calculated or factored that into the budget. It was almost like the way Enron ran their books. They had a bunch of off-balance sheets. We do the same thing at the federal level, which is why our deficit is so big. Our war spending is never calculated or factored into our budget. So one of the things I fought hard for, and we fought hard in the committee, was to do just that. In the Financial Services Committee, probably the biggest thing that happened when I was there was Enron, the collapse. And we passed a new set of regulations that's been commonly called Sarbanes-Oxley. Some people call it SOX. It really calls for greater transparency in how these companies operate, calling for greater independence with those who serve on their boards. There's some parts of it that Wall Street and many in the private sector did not like. They thought it was too onerous. But I think it's a good thing when CFOs and CEOs have to sign their financials. Because if you and I buy a share of stock in a company that one of these people here is CEO, CFO of, we are basically relying on the data they put out to us, saying the company's performing X, Y, and Z way. And if they are not asked to sign on to it, or at least to be responsible for it, accountable for it, who should be? You and I buy the stock, and if it loses money, you and I can tell right away if we win or lose. If the stock goes up, we make money. If the stock goes down, we don't. But they should be held accountable if the data they're laying out for us is not true.
I'm so happy you brought that up with the upcoming elections and with the war. According to the New York Times, the Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that the Consumer Price Index of this past August is 4% higher than it was a year ago. It's one of America's major concerns that this price index is going to keep raising. In your opinion, what needs to be done to solve this recurring problem?
To see more of this interview with Harold Ford Jr., stay tuned after the show. The first Senate meeting kicked off this week, and we were there to get you all the info.
All over campus, changes are being made. Student Senate met to discuss the goals they hope to accomplish. In today's meeting, the topic of discussion was change. Student leaders discussed the improvements that were made and how to address the upcoming challenges this year.
So we want to make sure that issues are being addressed and we're following up on issues from last year. Academic advising issues. We want to make sure students have the best academic experience on campus possible. We also want to make sure that they have proficient advising to obviously advise them on course selection, on academic issues, and also what they're going to do once they graduate, Ryder.
During the meeting, a few administrators sat in on the discussion. Dean Campbell spoke about some improvements on campus.
We've added in the Bart Luedeke Center, the Center for International Education, the New World Resource Center that came directly from the Diversity Task Force that was created here. And we updated and modernized the Multicultural Conference Room.
With these new improvements, students look forward to a better academic and social college experience. This is Garrett Williams reporting from Ryder right now.
If you would like to raise a question to the Ryder campus, Senate meetings are on Tuesdays at 11:30 in Swigert. If you ladies on campus still can't decide on that perfect nail color for the fall, take a look at this. Hey guys, I'm Kelly, your lifestyles reporter, and I'm here at US Nails on Route 1 in Lawrenceville with these lovely ladies. And today we're here to get some manis and petties with the 6 hot new nail colors for the fall according to Glamour magazine. Are you ready, girls? Yeah. Let's go. Ladies, tell them what you're gonna get.
I'm gonna get blue.
Glamour says summer neon nails are out and inky midnight hues of blue are new.
I'm getting jet black.
A touch of sexy goth is always in style, but is especially hot this fall. But be sure to pair it with a preppy piece to avoid looking too dark.
I'm getting crimson red.
Red has been refined for this season. Say goodbye to cherry and hello to sophisticated and seductive crimson.
I'm getting translucent pink.
Pretty in pink never goes out of style, and translucent pink is perfect for date night or any fall occasion.
I'm getting a matte nude color.
Barely There is everywhere this season. Matte nude hues are hot this fall and match any outfit. And I'm getting burnt rust. As the leaves change, so do the polishes, and deep burnt rust is in this season. The first day of fall is steadily approaching, and we're ready. For Rider Right Now, this has been Kelly Dixon. Let's go, girls. I have some great surprises for next week, so be sure to tune in. Sex and the City star Evan Handler came to Rider last week to promote his new book, It's Only Temporary, The Good News and Bad News of Being Alive. Our very own Kristen Salvatore sat down with Evan to find out about his book.
Hey Ryder, I'm Kristen Salvatore. I'm here with Evan Handler from Sex and the City, and he's here to talk about his new book, It's Only Temporary, The Good News and the Bad News of Being Alive. Evan, thanks so much for sitting down with us tonight. Can you tell us a little bit about your new book?
It's called It's Only Temporary, The Good News and the Bad News of Being Alive. It's a follow-up to a book I published 12 years ago that was called Time on Fire. And that book told the story of how I got well from a supposedly incurable illness, acute myeloid leukemia. And the first book, I guess, was a very angry young man's account of how much more difficult surviving the incurable illness was made than it needed to be. And a lot of my complaints about the medical systems that I ran into. This is a book from 20 years down the line about a guy who knows he should feel lucky to be alive, but who still takes a good part of those 20 years to really experience consistent gratitude and contentment in the life he knows he's lucky just to be living. So it kind of goes hand in hand with my search for love and eventually finding my wife. So there's a lot of stories of ridiculous relationships and bad dates, and one of the pieces talks about my 27 breakups, which were spread over only 10 relationships. So I averaged 2.7 breakups per relationship.
Now, I know you're probably most well known for your role as Harry on Sex and the City, but you've been in various TV roles and films. Is there a role that really sticks out in your mind?
I'm having a great time right now on Californication. That's a show on Showtime that actually premieres this coming Sunday, the 28th of September.
Going back to Sex and the City really fast, obviously the fan base for that show is women. Do you have any interesting fan stories or like fan encounters?
My wife is from Bologna in Italy, so first it was just in the United States, then in the big cities in Italy I started getting recognized, and now in her tiny little hometown of Molinella. So that's been very interesting. Also once in New York, I was riding the subway and like a pack of 12, 15-year-old girls came over to me and said, "Oh my God, Sex and the City, you're huge in London. How come no one's paying attention to you? How come no?" So that was just kind of funny. Well, if I need a bunch of 15-year-old girls, I can go to London, I guess.
And you were also on Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip, which I loved that show when it was on. And you played a writer for a TV show, and I know you'd done some screenwriting before.
Yeah.
Was it interesting to play that out in a role, because you've done that?
I didn't really connect them, you know. Aaron's a great writer, and and I think he was writing about his experiences, not mine, you know. So, and I think a lot of the stuff swirling around that show was so much about the intrigue of who is this in Aaron's life and who is that it kind of overshadowed anything in my life.
Thank you very much for sitting down with us tonight. It was great to meet you.
Thanks very much.
You can check out Kristen's entire interview with Evan right after the show. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I'm Kelly Dixon, and this has been Rider Right Now.